Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss one of the most important topic in Nazi Germany. That was the racial utopia. So basically, what does the word utopia means? So utopia is, you can say as such perfect thing that is very unreal to exist. Like suppose for me, a utopia will be a situation where all my students they are very good in studies, which is not possible because the level of intelligence varies from one person to another. Maybe some of you are good in studies, some of you must be good in sports, some of you must be good in arts. Okay, so it's not possible for each one of you to be very good in studies. So similarly, in Nazi Germany, there was a racial utopia or a such society that Nazis or Hitler wanted to create a society of racially desirable people. I hope you know who were considered as racially desirable. So Aryans, who were blue eyes, Nordic Germans, they were considered as the racially desirable ones, and rest all like Poles, Gypsies, Jews, they were considered as undesirable. So let us see. Under the shadow of war, the Nazis proceeded to realize their murderous and racial ideas. So they were pretending जब जर्मनी हिटलर बाकी लोगों से बाकी कंट्रीज से वॉर में इन्वॉल्व था इन द मीन वाइल इट वॉज नॉट ओनली ही वॉज इंगेज्ड इन वॉर बट ही वॉज ऑल्सो फुलफिलिंग सम ऑफ हिज मर्डरस एंड रेशियल आइडियाज क्या थी उनकी मर्डरस और रेशियल आइडियाज दैट विल सी नाउ genocide and the war became two sides of the same coin. So genocide, basically genocide in Hindi, you must have heard the word नरसंहार, that is mass killing. जब बहुत सारे लोगों को आप एक साथ मारते हैं for a purpose, that is called as genocide. ठीक है, जैसे यहाँ क्या थी पर्पस हियर द पर्पस वाज टू मेक जर्मनी free of the Jews, Polish, and Gypsies. So this was the purpose. So genocide and the war. At the same time, when Germany was engaged in war, it was also the state of Germany, the country within, was also disturbed because genocide was going on. Now, occupied Poland was divided up. So if you remember in the previous video, I said you that Poland was occupied by the Germans. So it was divided. Now let us see what was the division like. Most of the northwestern Poland was annexed by Germans. So most of the northwestern Poland was annexed by Germans. अगर पोलैंड में अगर पोलैंड कैप्टिवेट हुआ है कैप्चर हुआ है एनेक्स किया गया है दैट मीन्स नॉट ओनली द लैंड हैज बीन एनेक्स्ड बट इवन द पीपल हैव बीन एनेक्स्ड सो इफ द पीपल ऑफ पोलैंड हैव बीन एनेक्स्ड तो वो लोग कहाँ गए अगर जर्मन्स ने उनकी एरिया को कैप्चर कर लिया उनकी एरिया को एनेक्स कर लिया जर्मन लोग वहां रहने लगे तो पोल्स कहाँ गए पोलैंड के लोग कहाँ गए दैट विल सी Poles were forced to leave their homes and properties behind to be occupied by ethnic Germans, brought in from occupied Europe. So now in Poland, what happened? Poles, जो वहाँ के native थे, they were forced to leave their properties. जितनी उनकी प्रॉपर्टी थी उनके घर जो भी थे they were forced to leave all that and they were these places the parts of Poland was occupied by the Germans, ethnic Germans, जिन्हें नाजीज सबसे ज्यादा डिजायरेबल रेस मानते थे उन्हें यूरोप से लाया गया था और बाकी पार्ट से लाके उस पोलैंड के पार्ट में स्टैब्लिश कराया गया रिहैबिलिटेट कराया गया Poles were then herded like cattle in other parts called जनरल गवर्नमेंट सो अगर आपको याद होगी देन एक सेपरेट एरिया बना दी गई थी गेटोज वाज द नेम ऑफ दैट सेपरेट एरिया एक सेपरेट एरिया बना दी गई थी जहां पे सारे अनडिजायरेबल रहते थे सो दैट वाज द प्लेस वेयर इवन दीज पोल्स वर केप्ट एंड दे वर हर्डेड लाइक कैटल्स बहुत थोड़े जगहों में बहुत ज्यादा लोगों को ये रखते थे and there were no basic facilities that were available कोई civic amenities वहां available नहीं थी because ultimately these Nazis thought was or their ultimate plan was to kill them so if you are thinking to kill anybody you'll not give lots of facility to such people So same was with the Poles, Gypsies and Jews also when they were kept in ghettos. उनकी जो living conditions थी वो बहुत ही ज़्यादा खराब थी. Where they used to live in a very adverse condition जहाँ पे कोई भी बीमारी, कोई भी epidemic outbreak होने का बहुत ज़्यादा chances होता था. Okay, and they were kept under the रूल ऑफ जनरल गवर्नमेंट के रूल में उन्हें रखा जाता था. दैट मीन्स जो मेन गवर्नमेंट थी, मेन जो जर्मन गवर्नमेंट थी, नाजी गवर्नमेंट थी, वो उनके अंडर में भी नहीं आते थे. रादर एक सेपरेट जनरल गवर्नमेंट बना दी गई थी जिसकी कोई रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी नहीं थी. दे हैड नो रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, रादर दे इट वाज ओनली अ प्रिटेंस गवर्नमेंट दैट वाज created. The designation of all the undesirable of empire. Members of Polish intelligentsia were murdered in large number in order to keep the entire people intellectually and spiritually servile. So what happened? Now when killing was also done, एक process follow किया जाता था that किसको पहले मारा जाए. So इंटेलिजेंसिया, जितने भी इंटेलेक्चुअल टाइप के लोग थे, जितने इंटेलिजेंट लोग थे, या जो रिलीजियस स्पिरिचुअल पीपल थे जैसे उनके प्रीस्ट, उनके पोप्स, उन्हें पहले मारने लगे वो, बिकॉज दे वांटेड टू मेक पीपल क्लूलेस. लाइक यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड, बेसिकली दीज पीपल हैड हर्ड मेंटालिटी. शीप के अगर आप हर्ड को देखेंगे, उसका लीडर जो करेगा दे विल फॉलो हिम विदाउट गिविंग अ सेकेंड थॉट. Okay, if the sheep attacks a person, automatically the entire herd will attack the person. So same happened. What they started doing is they started killing the intelligentsia. ठीक है, जो लोग intelligent थे, जिनके पास scientific outlook थी, जिनके जो जानते थे कि सच है क्या है और गलत क्या है. So they started killing them first, ताकि बाकी जो बचे हुए लोग हों वो clueless हो जाएं. Polish children who looked like Aryans were forcibly snatched from their mothers and examined by race experts. So when they used to come to kill people, वो देखते थे कि बच्चे जो है, उनके बच्चे जो है, अगर वो फेयर, ब्लू आईज, नॉर्डिक जर्मन्स की तरह अगर अपीयरेंस में होते थे, then they used to snatch them from the मदर. पॉलिश बच्चे जो जर्मन्स की तरह दिखते थे, उनसे, उनकी मम्मियों से वो स्नैच करके और रेस एक्सपर्ट्स के पास ले जाते थे. नाउ हु आर द रेस एक्सपर्ट्स? आई टेल यू. रेस एक्सपर्ट्स बेसिकली दे आर सच पीपल हु हैव नॉलेज अबाउट द रेस, कि किस वंश के ये आए हैं, क्या इनका कोई भी ऐसा पर्सन था जो कि जर्मन था. ठीक है, ये सब रेस एक्सपर्ट्स बताते थे, जैसे उसके ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स या ग्रेट ग्रैंड पेरेंट्स, कोई भी एक पर्सन जो जर्मन था. एंड इफ दे वर इफ दे शुड पास द टेस्ट, उनके साथ क्या होता था, और अगर वो टेस्ट फेल कर जाते थे, रेस टेस्ट फेल कर जाते थे, तो क्या होता था? नाउ विल सी दैट. If they passed the race test, they were raised in German families, and if not, they were deposited in orphanages where most perished. So, if they pass the race test, अगर race experts बता देते कि ये इसकी कोई भी historic background है, इसके family में बहुत सालों पहले कोई भी German था, blue eyes Nordic German था, तो वैसे बच्चों को क्या करते थे? दे टू गिव देम टू जर्मन फैमिलीज. ऐसे फैमिलीज जिनके पास बच्चे नहीं होते थे, दे टू गिव देम, और वो बच्चा एक जर्मन फैमिली के साथ, डिजायरेबल जर्मन फैमिली के साथ पलने बढ़ने लगता था. एंड इन केस इफ दे फेल्ड द टेस्ट, देन दे वर डिपॉजिटेड इन orphanages, or orphanages had no facilities at that time, and if there are no facilities and kids are living over there, they'll automatically die. So they had no purpose of raising an undesirable child. With some of the largest ghettos and gas chambers, the general government also served as killing field for the Jews. So it was not only that this general government was taking care of the gas chambers and ghettos, rather they were also serving the killing field for the Jews. ये लोग Jews के लिए कोई काम नहीं करते थे. Rather what they used to do is, ये लोग हेल्प करते थे जर्मन गवर्नमेंट को बताने में दैट दे आर द इंटेलिजेंट पीपल, इनको पहले मारिए, फिर कैसे, हाउ द प्रोसेस ऑफ किलिंग विल गो ऑन. नाउ सी हियर, देयर इज अ पिक्चर ऑफ अ ट्रेन. This is one of the freight cars used to deport Jews to the death chambers. सो दिस इज अ व्हीकल जिसमें जीव्स को भर के और डेथ चेम्बर्स के लिए लाया जाता था. नाउ लेट अस सी द स्टेप्स ऑफ डेथ. So your first step is given exclusion. 1933 to 1939. Exclusion, word exclusion का मतलब ही होता है segregate करना, अलग कर देना. So you know Jews were segregated from the people. एक मोटो बना दिया गया था under exclusion. जो first step थी, ये जो पूरी Jews की killing थी, that was a proper planned murder. ये properly plan किया गया था that this will be the first step, then the second step and then the थर्ड स्टेप. तीन स्टेप्स में ज्यूज की मर्डर को प्लान किया गया था, ज्यूज की किलिंग को, और नॉट ओनली ज्यूज यू कैन से बट अनडिजायरेबल पीपल की किलिंग्स को तीन स्टेप्स में डिवाइड किया गया था. सो फर्स्ट वाज एक्सक्लूजन, दैट वाज यू हैव नो राइट टू लिव अमंग अस एज सिटीजन. सो इन फर्स्ट व्हाट वाज डन दैट आपको कोई हक नहीं है अनडिजायरेबल लोगों को डिजायरेबल्स के साथ एज अ सिटीजन ऑफ द कंट्री रहने का. यू विल बी सेपरेटेड. सो सी हियर एक पब्लिक में एक सोशली ऐसा बना दिया गया था जहां पे लोग पीपल दे स्टार्टेड हेटिंग ज्यूज. उनके मन में, उनके दिल में हेट्रेड आ गई थी ज्यूज के प्रति. सो you know, you must have seen that कैसे आज हमारे, not to take offensive, but we feel that people in Pakistan are terrorists, which is not real. It's not that everybody in Pakistan is a terrorist. There are few groups who are such. But how our media and posts on the social medias, how they have created that feeling of hatred. So same was done at that time for the Jews. Jews के लिए भी वही develop किया गया था. People they literally started hating Jews. Now let us see what was done. देखिए यहाँ एक पार्क में एक बेंच है in which invite something is written. I know it must not be very clear to you people, but see what it is written, that we'll see. For Aryans only. So what does it mean? That ये जो bench है वो reserved है किसके लिए? Aryan race के लिए. So imagine park which is a public place. The park bench announces that for Aryans only. That means Jews were not allowed to occupy the benches. These benches were fixed for or reserved for Aryans. So see here, one more thing is given. There is logo of a place. The sign declares that the North Sea bathing resort is free of Jews. So imagine कैसा सिचुएशन बना दिया गया था that रिसोर्ट्स के बाहर ये ऐसा सिंबल्स लगा दी गई थी that ये इस यहाँ पे the bathing resort is free of Jews. Jews were tortured so much, उन्हें कितना inferior देखा जाता था that people they started writing all these things. Like how some places it is written that this place is free of the poisonous animals, or this place is free of reptiles. So imagine they were treated like insects and reptiles in their own country. Jews were the people or inhabitant of Germany. But look how they are being treated, how they are being tortured, कैसे उन्हें socially insult किया जा रहा है that bench is not, you cannot occupy the bench, you cannot enter the resort. Okay, now Gatonization. Now what was Gatonization? You have no right to live among us. So in first step exclusion में था that you have no right to live among us as citizen. आप इस कंट्री के सिटीजन की तरह हमारे साथ नहीं रह सकते. आप रहे लेकिन आप इस कंट्री के सिटीजन की तरह ना रहे. बट इन गेटनाइजेशन व्हाट वाज डन दैट यू हैव नो राइट टू लिव अमंग अस. आप हमारे साथ रह ही नहीं सकते. अंडर दिस प्रोसेस, अंडर दिस स्टेप द गेटोज वर क्रिएटेड. दैट मीन्स मेन स्ट्रीम सोसाइटी से हटा के अनडिजायरेबल्स को बहुत ही पिटिएबल कंडीशंस में दे वर केप्ट इन गेटोज. नाउ सी हियर, a picture is given where a man is sitting on the floor and is selling something. This is all I have to sell. Men and women were left with nothing to survive in the ghettos. So in ghettos, if you see, he's selling all the things that he has to survive, to buy food. Okay, so Poles, Jews, undesirable people, when they were asked to leave their property, एक बार बोल दिया गया that आप अपनी property छोड़ दीजिए, then definitely they'll have nothing to sell. So their condition became very, very miserable. Okay. Now the last step, that is the fourth step, is analyzation. You have no right to live. So in first step it was said you have no right to live among us as citizen. In second step it was said that you have no right to live among us, हमारे साथ नहीं आप रह सकते. And in third stage, that is analyzation. In analyzation it was said that you have no right to live. आपके पास कोई right नहीं है to survive. You have to die. So see here this figure 18. Killed while trying to escape, the concentration camps were enclosed with live wires. So, if you can see, this man has lost his life. He has died. And how he has died? He tried to escape the concentration camp. और जो कॉन्सेंट्रेशन कैंप्स जो होती थी वो बार्बेडेड रहती थी लाइव इलेक्ट्रिक वायर्स से. उनकी चारों तरफ लाइव इलेक्ट्रिक वायर्स रहती थी. सो इवन इफ यू escape the concentration camp, the moment you would think of leaving the place, the moment you would touch the live electric wire, you had to die. So there was no way out from which you could escape. Piles of clothes outside the gas chamber. So look at this piles of clothes. ये उन लोगों के कपड़े हैं जिन्हें गैस चैम्बर्स में किल किया गया था. Basically what they used to do is before sending them to the concentration camp, they used to ask them to remove their clothes so that the counting of the dead bodies could be done. ठीक है. डेड बॉडीज को काउंट कर लिया जाता करने के पर्पज से इनके कपड़े हटा दिए जाते थे. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट दे फेल्ट इफ दे वेयर द क्लोथ तो पॉइजनस गैसेस शायद वो अपने नोज को क्लोज कर ले या प्रिवेंट कर ले कपड़ों से पॉइजनस गैसेस को इनहेल करने में. Okay, so what they used to do is they used to remove their clothes. So just look at the piles of clothes. Just look at the amount of shoes that is present over here. Okay. कैसे कितनी अट्रॉसिटी थी, कितने जीव्स को उन्होंने मारा गया था. इफ यू सी टिल वेयर योर आईज कैन गो, द ओनली शूज टेकन अवे फ्रॉम द प्रिजनर्स बिफोर द फाइनल solution. Now this word final solution is very very interesting, which we'll be discussing in the next video. That this Hitler and Nazis, they should not use the term as murder and killing, because वो जानते थे कि आज हम पार में हैं बट कल अगर हम पार से हट जाते हैं, then these words or these things, these documents might be against us. So what they started doing is they started using the terms like final solution. Now this is how the concentration camp looked like. Okay, these wires that you can see, they're actually the live wires. A concentration camp, a camera can make a death camp look beautiful. So look how beautiful this concentration camp is looking in the photograph. But what it actually what was it actually meant for? कितनी ज्यादा किलिंग इसने की थी, कितने ज्यादा लोगों ने अपनी लाइफ को लूज कर दिया था विदाउट एनी क्राइम. इनकी क्राइम बस यही थी that they were born as undesirables according to the Nazis. It was not that socially they were undesirable or racially they were undesirable, but Nazis felt them to be undesirable. Okay. So today basically we read about the racial utopia. In racial utopia, Hitler wanted to create such a society where only desirable blue-eyed Nordic Germans would exist and undesirable people would perish. ठीक है. फिर हमने पढ़ा steps of death. That was the 3 step: exclusion, gatonization and annihilation. ठीक है, ये step पढ़ा. And next video we are going to read about the youth in Nazi. So in youth in Nazi, we'll be reading this topic in the 3 different group. First group will be reading about the kids, छोटे बच्चों के बारे में पढ़ेंगे. फिर हम youth के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, that is basically the teens. Okay, and then we'll read about the गर्ल्स इन नाजी जर्मनी. हम देखेंगे कि यूथ को क्या बताते थे नाजी जर्मनी में, फिर बड़े होने पे क्या बताते थे नाजी जर्मनी में, और गर्ल्स को कैसे ट्रीट करते थे. व्हाट वाज देयर परसेप्शन टुवर्ड्स द girls. That we'll be doing. So as homework, what you have to do is you have to write about the steps of death in the Nazi Germany. And apart from that, there is an activity question that is given. See here. See the next 2 pages and write briefly what does citizenship means to you. What does a citizenship means, that you'll write. Look at chapter 1 and 3. Write 200 words on how the French Revolution and Nazis define citizenship. So you'll be reading that French Revolution में citizenship का क्या मतलब था और Nazism में citizenship का क्या मतलब था. What does the Nuremberg law means to the undesirable in Germany? What does the legal measures were taken against them to make them feel unwanted? So all this you'll be doing and please neatly do it in the copies, and apart from that you will also do this new words. Okay, new words that are given, this you'll learn and write. These are very very important, might come as define. So here are new words and two more questions are given, that also you'll do. Okay, you have to read this source and you have to answer these two questions. Thank you.